my power!
Hello gamers and gamettes, what is going on? My name is Keysworn and some of you may know me as Tanek127 Gaming, and welcome back to another video. And guys, in today's video I want to talk to y'all today about Chrono Odyssey. However, if you want to stay up to date on all things Chrono Odyssey, especially the console versions, make sure you are liking today's video, subscribing to the channel if you are new, and let's go ahead and get right on into today's topic. So, Chrono Odyssey had themselves a nice little stress test over the weekend. I'm not going to call it a beta test because, I don't know what kind of test this is considered. But gameplay is out there. Content creators have put their feelings out there. And, a lot of people have got to play it. Lucky for me, I know a few people personally who've got to play it, who have really decent PC builds and stuff like that. So, I was able to get some pretty good impressions from some very reliable sources, which we will talk about here in a bit. But I do want to talk about the overall impression going on with the game and why this has me just a little concerned about the game's future. And man, that bothers me to say. Chrono Odyssey, you were the one, man. You were the one!
You're the chosen one!
God, you're supposed to be the one. But man, okay. I still got faith. Alright, I still got hope. But there's just a lot that people are saying with this game, and God, because so many people are saying these things, I can't, I can't ignore it. If it was, if it was one content creator or something like that hating, if it was like some Dreamcast guy, status guy, who's negative about everything, and he was just like, oh yeah, Chrono Odyssey sucks, and blah, blah, then I wouldn't stress it. But there are a lot of people saying negative things, because I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Alright, the first negative video I saw about Chrono Odyssey just happened to be from Dreamcast guy. And when I saw that, and nothing against Dreamcast guy, but the dude has a thing for shitting on everything and everything. As soon as I saw that, I was just like, alright, the game probably ain't even bad. This dude just doing his usual. But nah, I've seen it from some decent creators out there. So one thing I hate when it comes to MMOs, especially when they're only being tested on PC, you don't know the kind of rigs and builds everyone has. Like, yes, these guys are, larger creators at the end of the day. They make a bunch of money. You would assume, they have top of the line rigs and stuff like that, but you never know what type of hardware anyone's using. You don't know what they got running in the background. You don't know if they're using a dual PC setup or a single PC setup. These are all factors I have to take into consideration when people tell me, that they're testing a game on PC and, it's not optimized well or it's buggy and stuff like that. I definitely believe the buggy part. And this is what bugs me because it just brings me back to my point even more. Why was this test PC only? All right, this just doubles down on what I'm saying, that consoles should have been included in this test, because if the PC version's having problems, I know for a fact the console ports have problems. Oh boy. And why they weren't brought in to test, I don't know, because I know when the beta first started, there were network issues, there were login issues, there were connection issues and stuff like that. They were tweeting about them, talking about getting players in. They were sending invites out slowly because, people were having a hard time getting into servers and stuff like that. Again, if it's that stressful on the most expensive platform out there, PC, why would you not want to test all three? You have PlayStation 5, PlayStation 5 Pro, Xbox Series X, and Xbox Series S. And this is supposed to be a cross-play game. I don't know about cross-progression, but I do know cross-play is a thing. Why would you not want to test all of this? See how your servers are running with the game as a whole, the way you plan on launching the game. I don't, even if this is, just a first testing phase, and there are multiple ones, that still doesn't matter. Why would you, man. I hope you guys feel what I'm saying, but no. Throughout the videos and stuff I've seen online, there were just, multiple bugs. There were people complaining about optimization issues and stuff like that. Now, granted, I've seen some videos, where people say the combat isn't too great, or, the game's just like your typical Korean MMO and stuff like that. Those kind of criticisms I'm not going to worry about too much and everything. The biggest comparisons I've seen people make with this game is they've compared it a lot to New World, and I actually saw one guy in particular compare it to Bless Unleashed, and I was so happy that somebody said that, because as soon as I saw the gameplay of this game, I said to myself, this reminds me a lot of Bless Unleashed, and I don't mean that to turn everybody off, because I know people have, issues with Bless. I know there was a lot of drama around the Bless games and stuff like that. I know they've shut down a bunch of games and pissed off a lot of people. I don't mean it's going to be a repeat of Bless. I just mean aesthetic wise and gameplay wise, it reminds me a lot of Bless Unleashed. It has like that slower paced kind of Souls like looking, combat to it, and that's one thing I noticed a lot when I saw the gameplay. Hell, even the you died screen kind of looks Dark Souls-ish when you die in the game. But overall, what I saw, the game looked good to me. Now, the people I've personally talked to, there were 3 of them. All right, I'm not going to mention them in this video, and especially one specifically asked to remain anonymous. They all had a pretty fun time with it. They said the combat was great. Even the first guy I spoke to, he told me, he loved it after the first day of play. Even with the server issues and stuff like that, he was having a phenomenal time. And, that's good. That's what gets me excited. And then, of course, you have the typical Korean MMO thing that everybody's worried about, it being backed by Kakao, so, they're worried about optimization. People are worried about pay-to-win things happening, stuff like that. The developers have already went on record and assured us no pay-to-win, but you have to remember something. The Korean version of pay-to-win and our North American version of pay-to-win are 2 completely different things, and then, you have people tying in the whole pay to progress, pay to advance terms and stuff like that. Pay to win's pay to win. All right, that's how I thought it. So what I hope they mean is, I hope there is no way to pay money to advance your character or game progression in any way, shape, or form. Whether that's leveling, gear drops, chances at better loot or anything like that. That's what we mean. We don't want to be able to pay for any of that. So I hope the developers see and understand that. But like I said, guys, my biggest concern right now for this game is an ugly launch, and I don't want that to be the case for this game, because this is one of the last MMOs or decent MMOs for the foreseeable future that I see coming. The other one we have is like a side game of a AAA first-person shooter that I can't even just think of the name of right now. But we're going to be making a video on that too later on this week. I did a little reaction to it about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, but we're going to be making a video on that later this week as well. But Chrono Odyssey, overall, from what I've seen, it looks like it has a lot of potential. They need to get the optimization cleaned up. They need to double down on reassuring players, how the cash shop's going to work and stuff like that. They need to do a big test overall, get the consoles involved, and we need something where we can see a preview of the cash shop and how it's going to work. I think if they do those things, get the optimization cleaned up, get the consoles involved, and, get a big test, that shows us all the functions of the game, I think that'll help and put a lot of people's minds at ease. At least, just my personal opinion. I'm optimistic overall, but I am really, really nervous because this is, just a really bad first impression, and I hate the fact that, an MMO that so many of us MMO fans have been banking on has given a bad impression, and that just, that makes me scared. I'm not gonna lie, that worries the hell out of me. But anyway, guys, did y'all get a chance to play Chrono Odyssey over the weekend? If you did, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Have you seen gameplay or videos from other creators? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Y'all enjoyed today's video? Smash that like. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out. Have a good one.